Kumoyali with the news. Now, the Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed January 22nd for judgment in a suit filed by the Rivers State House of Assembly and Martin Amihule as Speaker against Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the National Assembly, and others. One of their lawyers, Ken Njamanze, denied filing any motion to withdraw the case. The judge, James Omotosho, adjourned the matter for judgment after the lawyers for the parties presented their argument for and against the case in the amended originating summons filed on December 11, 2023. They sued the National Assembly, Senate President, Deputy Senate President, Senate Majority Leader, and Senate Minority Leader. They are seeking an order to stop the takeover of the performance of the functions of the Rivers State Assembly. They are seeking an order to stop Governor Fubara from impeding or frustrating the Assembly under Amihule's leadership as its Speaker. They are also seeking to restrain the Governor and others from withholding any amount standing to the credit of the Rivers State House of Assembly and the State Consolidated Revenue Fund, including salaries and emoluments due and payable to the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and other members of the House, as well as to the Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and other members of staff of the Assembly. When the matter came up yesterday, Justice Omotosho granted Edison Ehe's application for joinder. Mr. Ehe, who also listed himself as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, was joined in the suit as a 17th defendant, and the court made an order deeming all processes filed by him being properly filed. Moving on now, some residents of Port Harcourt have been sharing their thoughts on a recent statement made by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike over the weekend. The minister, a former governor of Rivers State, said, among other things, that Rivers people will know who is in charge when it's time for politics. His recent comments raised concerns among some residents who saw them as an indication that the political crisis in the state is yet to end.
I think he's being self-centered or thinking he's a god. Why is he losing his boy, the governor? The River State people will decide who is going to be their next governor when that time comes, not Wike. Wike is not River State.
I make sure of them reconcile. All these things I really know go make state develop because the other one go get in own fashion, the other one go get in own fashion.
If you like, make it say River State.
Wike should know that he's not the owner of River State. That should be picking people to be governor or whatever.
I think talk, you know what in one do during that time. No matter what people they talk for our side.
He's entitled to his statement. We know what transpired in the 2023 election. I believe in the forthcoming election in 2027, I believe the aunties will fair them. We want a peaceful River State.
Political analyst Zoe Tamonotoye also spoke on this.
This was how far the minister went in creating confusion and uncertainty in the politics of Rivers State. I'm therefore using this opportunity to call on the former governor of Rivers State, the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, not to make statements that will incite and manipulate the people for his personal ego. It is important that every Rivers son and daughter maintain the relative peace in the state by desisting from making utterances that could undermine the peace effort by the governor of Rivers State.
On a spot, the convener of Rivers State Peace Initiative, Obinna Egbogidi, described the former governor's recent comments as disturbing.
We are deeply worried that these trends of highly provocative comments and statements, especially by these political leaders, are capable of sparking conflicts and drilling the state from the path of good governance. The continuous resort to acerbic and politically insensitive pronouncements by both the camps of Governor Sim Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike, even after the intervention of President Bola Tinubu, does portend great danger for the state, as they have now set the ground for deep-seated animosities and divisions among Rivers people, especially the youths.
Mr. Egbogidi, however, advised the FCT minister and Governor Fubara to avoid actions capable of driving away investors in Rivers State.
We implore all stakeholders, particularly Governor Sim Fubara and his predecessor, Chief Nyesom Wike, to, irrespective of the political differences and grievances, engage in respectful and constructive conversations that promote collective understanding for the sake of the peace and progress of our beloved state. This is not the time to amplify drumbeats of war and scare away prospective investors, thereby denying Rivers people and the state valuable opportunities of investments and jobs for young people. Stakeholders are encouraged to eschew bitterness and promote dialogues.
Away from that, scores of supporters of the Social Democratic Party SDP in Oba Ewe Mandoni local government area who were supporters of the SDP governorship candidate Magnus Abe have dumped the party for the PDP. They were received by the Commissioner for Urban Planning, Isaac Umejuru, the Onelga PDP Ward 8 Chairman, Emeka Enoch, and the leader of the Enforcers for Good Governance, Kingsley Ogu, speaking at the event which was held at Obogu Town in Onelga. The leader of the Enforcers of Good Governance, Kingsley Ogu, urged the defectors to join hands with Governor Siminalayi Fubara to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people of the state.
Prince, the guy who is leading, his name is Prince Owopo, who is leading the faction in SDP to PDP today. He's a big time guy who gave me a problem. So bringing him here means that we'll have no problem in the re-election of our government in 2027. The message is clear. We have to stick to our governor. He's a governor that takes every decision that suits the common people of the state. He's meritorious in his awards of contracts. He's a governor that loves it. This is one time we have gotten it right.
On the spot, leader of the defectors and chairman of the Rivers Voice for Freedom in Onelga, Prince Oruko Ugochukwu, said hundreds of them decided to defect to the PDP for the interests of the state and to support Governor Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu.
A body which I'm the chairman, we believe on freedom and we stand for justice and equal justice. See Fubara-led government need the support of Rivers State, more especially the Rivers State, for him to be able to deliver on the mandate given to him.
Elsewhere, a group, the Coalition of Patriotic Youth Groups in Andoni, has warned against playing politics with the security of Andoni. The group coordinator Gogo Togwell Owo said in a statement that they have watched with dismay the deliberate attempt by some politicians led by Awaji Nombek Abiante in the disguise of a solidarity rally to truncate the peace in Andoni. The statement said that it is on record that before the arrival of the council chairman Erastus Awoto, Andoni was under a siege of heightened insecurity, with most of these politicians looking away. The statement said the frantic effort of the Andoni council chairman in synergy with other stakeholders have brought Andoni out of the news for the wrong reasons. The group said they would not tolerate any attempt to truncate this peace because of selfish political ambitions. It said the Andoni people, and the youth especially, are happy with the developmental stride of Erastus Awoto and so believe in his leadership. The statement also said that they are not ready to return to the age of sharing their allocation without any visible project to speak for it. Still to come, EFCC invites suspended minister better do over 585 million naira scandal. Stay with us. Regions of Omoagobia in Omagwa, Ikwere local government area of River State have described as misleading some content of a book titled History of Omagwa, written and published by one Mr. Adele E.E. The criticism was contained in a communique jointly signed by Ebenezer Ichem, John Ibule, a retired DSP, Samuel Nnaoboni, Idris Ichem, Francis Odemenem, Alphonsus Ibule, and Gospel Obara. The communique said the book gave wrong information about the origin of Omoagobia people. They said the information on page 45 of the book, which states that Agobia, the progenitor of Omoagobia, migrated from Obakiri and settled in Omagwa, where he was received and absorbed by Ahem, is untrue and should be disregarded. They said the information is provocative and insulting to the people of Omoagobia. They maintained that the people of Omoagobia who know their history trace their origin to the fourth son of Agwa through the last wife of Agwa by the name of Abba. Now, they said Abba hails from the present-day Ahoda East local government area of River State. Moving on now, President Bola Tinubu has relieved the appointment of the head of Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alexander Oko, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Babatunde Irukira. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has invited the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, for questioning over an alleged 585 million naira scandal. Now, this comes less than an hour after President Bola Tinubu announced Mrs. Edu's suspension from office. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Galale, in a statement yesterday, said the suspended minister was directed to hand it over to the permanent secretary of the ministry and fully cooperate with the EFCC as they conduct their investigation. Meanwhile, chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinma, says the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Betta Edu, conforms to the laws of the Federation. Conforms to the laws of the Federation. The Imo State governor said this after a private visit to President Tinubu yesterday. He, however, cautioned against sensationalizing the issue.
I think it's consistent with the law and the oath of office is swore to. So I don't think it's something that will begin to create a menu now for the media. So I think let's allow the sleeping dog to rest.
Governor Uzodinma also spoke of the reactions to the delay in the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
We should understand by this time that both Nnamdi Kanu, both the president, I encourage you to join hands. Let's resolve all national issues. We are working on that. We are working on it.
In other news, a High Court in Abuja has awarded the sum of 100 million naira against the federal government in favor of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, for the violation of his right to personal liberty. But the EFCC expressed its dissatisfaction with the judgment, vowing to go on appeal.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
A U.S. Navy officer who admitted to providing sensitive military information to China has been jailed for more than 2 years. Wen Hengzhao, who is 26 years old, pleaded guilty in October to passing on information to Chinese intelligence for bribes. Mr. Zhao was a petty officer working at a California naval base. And that's a wrap on the news this morning. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Court has set a date for judgment in lawmakers' suit against Governor Fubara, the National Assembly, and some others. The weekend comment of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has stirred reactions. The EFCC has invited the suspended minister Betta Edu over the 585 million naira scandal, and on the foreign scene, a U.S. Navy officer has been jailed for spying for China. The news was edited by Chioma Ezenwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Ife Chukwumoyeli. Many thanks for listening.